Do you like the interaction between the characters? Do you enjoy the characters themselves? Do you like an action-packed or a complicated plotline? Because what's most important is the impact that story has on you, right? So today, I'm going to focus in on life stories. For some, life stories provide inspiration. For others, conviction, reflection. But overall, their purpose is to instigate a change. Unlike the stories and movies we enjoy today, people don't have manufactured stories. Their lives are defined by the events that make and break them, and how they choose to live in response. And that response is what makes their story truly memorable. So I have a little narrative that I'd like to share with you today that provides a good framework for what I mean by a life story. I must warn you, though, it is a bit poignant, but I think it truly encapsulates the idea of the story being inspiring. So I'd like to read this to you. There was once a family, a loving family, a family of 5. The children were all in their teens, the eldest sister being a senior, a brother in his sophomore year, and the youngest girl in middle school. They got along for the most part, as well as siblings can, and they truly loved one another. Both parents were involved in their children's lives and, as good parents, wanted the best for each child. To any person viewing the daily life of this family, they appeared unified and functional, their home a utopia, until suddenly, that utopia was shattered by the death of the son, who chose to end his life one fateful day. Months flew by, but the burden of their loss never went away. It sits there, in the bottom of the hearts of the mother, father, and sisters, like an anchor pulling them deeper into a dark and tumultuous ocean. Friends and family mourn together and never cease to share stories of how the boy smiled to make the day of anyone passing by, how his laughter and witty humor could turn sad faces into joyful ones. Still, time never ceases. The eldest sister has to begin a new life in college, outside the home, carrying with her this remembrance. The younger sister has to return home every day to a quiet household, to pass by his old room now haunted with memories. Those who are close to him will never, ever forget him. Yet in the midst of the pain, the family chose to stay unified, to cling to hope, and to keep on loving others despite their ever-present anguish. No one can deny their loss is terrible and should never have happened. But what is truly inspirational and admirable is found in how each member of the family does not let this event define their lives. Most of their stories have yet to be written. Instead, they wear a smile on their faces because they trust in a promise that one day they'll see their son and brother again. And now, they share their story because they don't want other people to have to experience what they did. Their story is a force of change. It is obvious that this is a story of tragedy. But as you can see, it is also one of hope. Because this family chose not to let their loss consume them. Instead, each day they get up and they put a smile on their face and they move forward in self-confidence and keep on loving others. And I find that truly admirable. Some stories are not written on the faces of people, or even evident in their lifestyles. I mean, something like this, people tend to cover up. They don't want to seem that vulnerable. Say you were to meet this family at a restaurant for the first time. Would you immediately know this about them? Would you assume that they had been through a life-changing event? But would you act differently if you did know this? Think about it this way. Remember back in the days when we actually used to go to a library? I know for me that was back in elementary school. I mean, everything's online now, but my parents, they dropped me off in the kids section, and I'd be allowed to pick out a few books of my choosing. And I'd always go for the picture books. I loved flipping through the pages and seeing all the cool pictures. And I also loved the cool cover as well. So, if it was action-packed and cool-looking, I wanted to read it. Now these libraries, they're full of stories. And you never know what story is contained within the pages until you actually sit down and begin to read. And after you're done reading, hopefully, you have a new respect for that book, because it's no longer about the cool pictures or the good-looking cover, but about the story itself and the impact that it had on you. What about this? In the same sense, we tend to invest more time in people that seem more open and approachable, not those who are closed off and silent. But what if? Just what if we were to take the time to seek out the forgotten stories of those we encounter daily, seek to understand what truly defines them, be quick to listen and slow to speak, allowing them to share with you their successes and their failures. Because I know for some people, just having the chance to be listened to offers them such immense joy, because it shows that other people care. And in doing this, you create a link to a stronger community, stronger friendships, and stronger family. And it can also have an impact on your life, because when that person shares about a struggle that they went through and overcame, you may start to look at your own in a different light. Maybe that thing that was overwhelming you and causing you a lot of stress just fades away. And so, your story can be impacted by knowing someone else's. Or what about this? What if you're the person on the other end who feels like you might not have a story to tell, or that no one will listen? I've been in this situation before, and let me just say that everyone has a story that needs to be told. No matter how big or how small you think yours is, you have something to offer these people. Your story has meaning. Let me show you how. Remember back, oh, I already said that one. Who here, raise your hand if you know how to make a good campfire. Honestly, I don't. I hate fire. All right? But what are the things that you need? What do you go out in the woods looking for to make that fire? Well,
wood.
You need wood, yes. You need firewood, right? Those big logs that are going to burn and burn and burn for a long period of time. And so you get all those, you gather them up, you put them in a big pile, and now you're ready to light the fire. But those logs alone are not going to create that spark or that ignition. So what do you go looking for when you need to light that fire? It's unusual, but kind of those seemingly insignificant twigs that are strewn across the ground are what we use to light that fire that will burn and give light and warmth to those around. And so, the kindling. So, what are the seemingly insignificant twigs in your life? Meaning, what are those events that you seem somewhat unimportant, maybe not significant in defining who you are? They could be a former classmate you knew, lessons you learned as a child, new stuff, an opportunity, or a missed opportunity. They don't seem important at the moment, but don't discard them from your memory just yet, because their value has yet to be realized. Something comes along in your life that will give those small things meaning, a deeper meaning. Never underestimate the power you have inside you of just living your life. It might be exactly what someone else needs to see, and then what they might need to hear. And so in that regard, also be more aware. Be on the lookout for those people who could use that inspiration that you have. All right. You. Where do you fit in? apply to your life, right? Are you the person that needs to begin to consider others for their stories and learn what defines them? Or are you someone who needs to think about your own story, the things that define you, and the events that have made you who you are today? In a world that is increasingly self-focused, containing a population that feels ever more isolated, as if one cannot truly understand the struggles of another, one life story can have a tremendous impact. People underestimate the power of their highest highs and their lowest lows, forgetting that the struggles of their past help define the successes of the future, not only in your own life, but also in the lives of others. Somebody needs the light that you have. So next time you're around that person that you're just beginning to get to know, or maybe someone you see every day but you really haven't acquainted yourself with. And also, as you are sitting in this room listening to these next students share their stories up here on this stage, remember that everyone has a story that makes them who they are, defines their passions and their dreams, their actions and their motives, makes them believe what they believe. It is my desire, and I hope it is your desire too, to know and understand the stories of those around you, to get to know the real you, because stories are powerful, and you may not know the impact your story can have on someone else. So, what's your story? Thank you.